most of the artifacts that they found during the whole project. The first project that started with the whole excavation and investigation in Tikal was in 1956 and finished in 1969. And then we had another a small project until 2010. So they finished with the whole excavation in general, and during all of that time they was digging all around. They never used any kind of technology, so they found a lot of artifacts, especially in the tombs. And here they are preserving most of the artifacts that they found during the whole project. The Japan flag is right here next with the Guatemalan flag because it's one of that 4 countries that sent out some donation to support the project. United States, Spain, Japan, and Germany. But to visit this museum and the other one that is right there, we need more time, and also you need another ticket. All right? Let's go to see.
I'm the only one with camera. I think.
You get the rest of the time right before it's a big deal.
This area of Belén is very humid because we have 9 months of rain in the whole year. Go ahead, we're going to see a big map. I'm going to show you which places we're going to visit, which places are completely covered. The archaeologists already did the investigation everywhere. They were digging all around. But they exposed only on that side, 20%. Come to this side, please.
Miren lo que Javier no ha aprendido todavía. Para regresar tiene que enseñar el palo a ella. Algo grande. A los Rex.
Moet het kaartje weer mee? Ja.
Bueno,
Hola, amigo.
linda, ahora sí. Calidad.
Un momento.
Ajá.
Tu ticket, amigo.
Ah, ok, ahí está.
Ahorita te lo devolvemos.
Ajá.
Ese Dani.
Sí, correcto.
Ese es Dani,
Buenas, ayer. Oh. Nicaragua. Yeah. Interesting.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, good group. Different countries, like 7 countries.
Wow.
Most of the people that I guide in the last 14 months are Miranas. Everywhere. What is happening there?
It's not good there. Weather's bad.
You escape. And then second place, Israel. Third place, UK. Fourth, Germany. And the fifth place, France.
Contrataron a los chicleros, que son bastante diferentes, ¿no? Pero es el que está mejor investigado. Durante esos 13 años que contrataron a los chicleros para estar con ellos, trabajando en la zona, los chicleros se vieron bien,
okay.
se les dificultaba ir a ver a sus familias porque no había una carretera como la que tenemos ahora. Entonces,
Chicos, the plan is to walk directly to the main plaza. That was the most important time on that time, and also for the archaeology. So they exposed that two huge acropolis that you can explore by yourself, and you can climb temple number 2. Temple number 1 was closed in 1998 because they are preserving the whole building. The staircase suffered some erosion, so it's not in a good condition to climb anymore. But we have to walk to the top of the hill. Most of the city was built on hilltop. On that time, the whole city was enemies. All the time they was fighting each other. That's why they use the top of the hill. They can see very well around when their enemies coming to attack them, and also was much easier to fight from the top to down than vice versa. So they was smart. Okay, look, this species of tree we call ceiba. There is one more over there. Look my hand with a big trunk. Both are ceibas. In the whole country, we have two different sizes of ceiba, the giant ones and the shorter. But both survive around 300 years. Ceiba tree was considered by this civilization tree of life, or as a sacred tree. According to the Mayan cosmovision, when they die, literally they have to move down by 9 levels or 9 steps to Xibalba, to the underworld. The place where they got the new life, the new reincarnation, and then they have to climb up by 13 levels or a step for to be in the heaven next to their gods. That's why that life is going to be better than this life. And on that time, the Guatemalan government, exactly in May 26, they decided to clear this special tree as a national tree of Guatemala. Because for this civilization was considered a tree of life. We cannot use the wood for nothing because the tree has a lot of water and the wood is too soft, only produce a lot of smoke. But we have to respect because it's our national tree. Okay? Ceibas drop the leaf every 2 years and survive around 300 years. This one has around 85, but a little ahead we're going to see a giant ceiba tree with 60 meters, and that one has around 220 years old. But we have ceibas in the whole Central America. Only Guatemala is protected. That is the name how we call this place now, in our time. Tikal. It's easy to say Tikal, right? The real name of this place was Tikal. Tikal means city of voices, city of echoes. And it's much easier to say Tikal than say Tikal. So that's why the archaeologists decide call Tikal. The meaning of this place, city of voices or city of echoes, it's because the main plaza on that time and now you can hear the echoes, you can hear the sound. It's very acoustic. Have you been before in Chichen Itza? You? Did you clap your hand there? Yeah. It's exactly the same acoustic. But we don't know if on that time the architectures, the engineers decide build these plazas to produce exactly the same sound. So two different civilizations, different time, far, far away. We don't know if it's coincidence or the limestone produce that kind of echoes. In Chichen Itza, they use limestone. Here, they use limestone. So we know that's probably the limestone helped to produce that kind of echoes or sound. But in the Mayans' time, they have to build that plazas to make that kind of sound or acoustic, because when the king climbed to the top of the temples and the priests, normally they have to talk with the rest of the people from there. No microphone, no speakers on that time. So that's why in the whole Mayan cities, especially in the plazas, we're gonna hear that kind of echoes or sound. And that's why they decide call Tikal, because it's much easier for you. Say Tikal than say Tikal. Okay, let's walk to the archaeological area. And on the way, we're gonna stop to see a judge and save a tree. We can take a picture. And a little ahead, the map. I'm gonna explain there how much we're gonna see in this tour. Was found by accident by local people. I was looking around for the gum tree, Chico Zapote, the sapling that's coming. During that time, the local people collected sap from this region and also from Eastern Mexico to produce the natural chewing gum in the United States. We're from US. Wrigley's Import Company from Tikal, Illinois. They go to water sample here and also from Eastern Mexico to produce the natural chewing gum. Now, no more. Artificial. They have to stop. They just stop. From that time, the Guatemalan government started to take destroying 1,000 square kilometers of jungle and became a national park. In total, we have around 16 national parks just in Pacific. The nickname of these guys was chicleros. They collect the sap to do chicle. And chicle, I mean chewing gum in Spanish means chicle. So the nickname of them was chicleros. The chicleros people found Tikal by accident in February 26, 1848, in the middle of nowhere. Nobody has any idea about these places, about this structure. Nobody has any idea that here, in this area of the pen, lived an ancient civilization. And on that moment, the Chicleros people had a lot of questions without any answer. That's why they decided back to Flores Island. Just try to find some answer about this place, but nobody had any idea. That's why the governor of Pepen, Ambrosio took, he decided to come with them to explore to see this area, and he started to write some information about this place that was completely covered by the vegetation, and then he sent that information to Europe, to different universities. And 43 years later, 1881, the first official explorer visited Tikal. And he came from UK. His name was Alfred Mosley. And he spent here 2 years. His project was just to cut down the whole vegetation that was on top of the whole structure. And he did the first pictures of Tikal in black and white. I'm going to show you some of these pictures just to get an idea how they found the temples, the biggest structure. Only the ceremonial temples survived that long time in the jungle. The smaller structure like a palaces, bulkheads, monuments as still as an altars collapsed from 20 to 80%. Same building same year, but without vegetation, and how it looks today. There is a big difference. Temple number 5. The same building that I showed you before, but without vegetation, and how it looks today. The plan is to go there to take this picture. But all depends on you.
We go outside and we go to the restaurant.
Sorry?
We go outside.
You decide separate?
Yes.
Okay, so you have to be on time. 2:45. Did you order some lunch?
Well, yes.
Or you have to back there at 2:30?
No problem.
Okay, don't
Thank you.
worry. Go ahead. Okay. And this is how looks this temple today. This was the first structure that the Chicleros people found in the middle of nowhere in 1848. And then, after this explorer, Tikal was visited by another explorer, and he came from Germany.
What's that?
Dinosaurs. No, if you've never heard that sound, you can imagine that it's a big animal, like a lion, dinosaur, gorilla. But it's a howler monkey, like a dog. But they are very loud, you know. We can hear them from 3-4 kilometers away if we are on the ground, but if we are on top of the temples, 8 kilometers away. Listen. Only the alphas make the sound.
Very hungry.
And most of the time the alphas are fighting for the female. Is this one. It's like a dog. 2 alphas.
Oh.
They are fighting now for the female.
You better stay out of the way.
They don't kick, they don't bite, just they try to intimidate each other by the screamer, you know, and normally the louder is the winner.
Just yell at each other.
Like humans, you know? All the time we fight. Okay, look at that. This is the giant ceiba tree. 60 meter, 220 years old. Branches represent the heaven, represent the life. Roots represent death or represent Shibalba. This ceiba is not dying, looks live. The plants that you can see on the branches are not parasites, are not killing the tree. Are Formelia's family. We call air plants. Just eat from the air, not from the tree, or not parasites. But it's very common to see air plants on the branches because we have a subtropical rainforest. During the whole year, we have 9 months with rain. So that's why the humidity. Can you feel it? I can feel it. It's 100%. But looks, the vegetation most of the time looks so green because we have a lot of rain, and also we have only 1 meter with the black land that has the soil. After that, we can find the rock, limestone. That's why the roots of the trees cannot penetrate that rock. And on the way, around of the trunk, we're gonna see a long root. And that's why, or that is the reason why the trees died very young. This is not considered a real jungle. But for most of you, could be a jungle because probably you don't have this kind of vegetation in Europe. Maybe in some places. But if you want to see the real jungle, you have to go to the Amazon. That is a real jungle, and there is a big difference, you know, it's more immense than this one, deepest than this. And most of the trees has 75 to 95 meter. You can see trees with 500 to 700 years old. Very few trees with 350 years, 220. So that's why in Central America, we don't have a real jungle because only we have 1 meter with the black land and then the rock. So this is considered a primary forest. So it's not jungle. Okay? Vamos, let's go to see the map. That map was made according with all of that investigation that the archaeologists made by hand between 1956 and 2010. During that time, the archaeologists found around 3,500 structures, and then they made the map just try to represent the most important structure that they use on that time. As a temples, residential areas, and the pyramids that they use to see the Milky Way, the astronomical observatory.
Where?
Okay. During that time, 1956, 2010, I told you they never use any kind of technology, but they use a lot of local people. They were digging all around. But in the middle of 2018, the last North American expedition came to do another kind of investigation. Did you hear something about LiDAR?
Yeah.
About LiDAR? Yeah, you know. North Americans came. And with this kind of technology, it's like a scanner, like an X-ray. Now it's much easier to see all of that thing that they was abandoned and the vegetation, the time covered completely, That's a structure or remain of that smaller structure that they found with this technology are completely inside that any archaeologist found before. So they found part of that. 3,500 structure by hand. They use a small airplane. They put the whole stuff, the computer, laser, a scanner, the X-ray, something like that. And then they flew around of Tikal only 4 hours. With this technology, they are fighting very strong. And then with this technology from the airplane, using the computer, they can remove the vegetation, and then they mapping, and then they send hundreds of lasers to the earth. When one of these lasers back to the computer, that means that the laser found remain of one small structure that is completely inside, and more than 12,000 lasers back to the computer. Plus 3,500 structures that they found by hand during that time. We are talking about more than 5,000 structures that the Mayas built in Tikal. During that time, during that project, the archaeologists tried to expose to the public 20% of that now became at 3%, because we know that Tikal was much bigger than we know before. They mapping by hand only 16 square kilometers, but with this technology, they mapping 20. So that means that Tikal was much bigger. All of that structure they found here around and between. The Tikal's population during the peak time, 700 AD to 850 AD, was around 250,000 people. On top of the hill lived around 15 to 20,000 people. That was part of the upper class. Middle class, they live outside. Lower class farther, close to their agricultural fields. But the archaeologists don't spend too much time here to do investigation because they don't found any evidence. Their dwellings was built with palm and wood. Everything are gone. They never learned to read and write. So that's why they never found walls, monuments as stelas, altars, pottery, pieces of human bone with some carving or jade. They found all of that on top of the hill because only the upper class learned to read and write. And only the upper class used jade that they used just to decoration as a gold. They never found gold. Spaniards found that after 1524. Okay? Muy bien, chicos. We are here. We came from the Chicken Temple restaurant, the museum, the place where you got the bracelet. We saw the giant ceiba tree, and we are here. I would like to take the shortcut, but I'm gonna take this trail. Just try to see the monkeys, okay? So we're gonna pass walking between 15, 16, and then we're gonna take part of this, and we're gonna take part of this causeway that connect with the main plaza number 1. We're gonna spend there like a half an hour, 35, 40 minutes, all depend on you. You can explore number 18 and number 17. So that's 2 huge acropolis was exposed to the public. But the archaeologists spend a lot of time there digging all around of that 2 huge acropolis. And now we know that number 18 was the largest residential area where only the nobles people lived, the royal families. And all of that people that live in number 18 was buried in number 17. So North Acropolis could be as a Neo-Acropolis. They found over than 250 very rich tombs. When I say rich tombs, that means information because the looters never touched Tikal. We had that big problem in 1950 until 1990. Local people moved to the jungle looking for these places. They found many archaeological sites where they was digging all around. They destroyed a lot of buildings because their plan was to connect with the tombs. And unfortunately, they found many tombs. They opened all of that, and then they took the most important artifacts where the Maya left the most important information, and then they sold to the black market. Now it's very difficult to get it back. A lot of information about this civilization are all over the world. There are a lot of people that they have their own private collection. But the looters never touched Tikal because at the same time, the Guatemalan government sent part of the Guatemalan army to protect this area during the next 5 years. And then in May 26, 1955, this area became a national park. And then at the beginning of 1956, the North American archaeologists came for first time after they signed the first agreement with Guatemala. So University of Pennsylvania started with the whole investigation, excavation, and the reconstruction of Tikal. So they tried to expose 15% of that, and then later they tried to expose another 5%, that now we know that they exposed only 3% of the city, because we know that Tikal was much bigger. Okay, the whole complex or residential areas that are completely uncovered are 25. That's the structures or palaces that you can see next to number 10. Number 19, that's huge Acropolis, is still completely uncovered. Number 12, number 5, 16, 13, 14, and number 27, and number 4. There was the central market of Tikal. Okay, just they did that investigation by tunnels, and then they decide close the tunnel just to preserve. And now we're going to try to see number 15, number 18, 17, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2, and part of number 3 and number 10. But look this number from 6 to 11. The real number of the temples are 6, 1, 7, 2, 8, 3, 9, 5, 10, 5, and 11, 6. They gave that numbers in that order because in that order they did the investigation inside and the reconstruction. So you can see there. The smaller is number 11 on the map, and the biggest one is temple number 4. So 9 on the map. And the plan is to go there and climb it to enjoy the view. But the best view of Tikal is going to be from the flat building, and it's next to number 2. It's a massive structure that we call the Great Pyramid or the Astronomical Observatory. All right. The whole platform, all of this was made by Mayas. They paved everything. They built their own platform for 3 reasons. 1, to get the level of the land. Second, some of this platform was connected by canals or aqueduct that connect with the lowland. So they used to collect the water, during the raining season. That was one of the big problems that they had at the beginning. No water around of Tikal, no rivers, cenotes, lake, lagoon, nothing. But I'm going to explain you in the way why they decided to build Tikal here with a water. And then the third function was as a foundation of the whole structure. So they build their own bases, and then they build on top. There are nothing of this structure inside of the bases. All right? They stop to howling. It's going to be very difficult to find them, so we're going to take a shortcut, okay? So this way. From here to here is going to be the hardest part of this hike because we have to climb the hill.
Wow.
We're going to pass over 9 platforms, okay? Let's do it. tributaries of limestone. That's why they decided to build here with a water. But they survived that 1800 years collecting rainwater from the top of the hill, where they built a huge artificial basin that was connected with these canals. Look, like this. But in 1956, when the North Americans came, they had to collect the water to do the restoration of Tikal. But before that, they understood that the Mayas collect the water from the top of the hill. That's why they put a new plaster in the 3 canals that they used to collect the water,